Well, hello and welcome to today's episode. In this session, we are going to discuss cloud security's best practices, focusing on identity and access management, as well as data encryption and protection. So let's explore how these practices can actually help you safeguard data and ensure secure access within the cloud environment. So the first topic we'll discuss will be identity and access management. You can also call it as IAM, identity and access management. Is actually a crucial for managing who can access cloud resources and what actions they can perform, authentication and authorization. Here are some of the key components. So when I said authentication and authorization, remember the sequence. It is important. So first, it's always authentication. Well, this process actually verifies a user's identity using credentials such as username and password. And you can also add MFA, multi-factor authentication, on top of it. Well, it just adds a layer of security. There are more authentication policies or options, such as you can go with facial recognition, or you can also go with a one-time passcode, all right? And you can boil down this to be a passwordless authentication. So there are many ways to do that. The next is access control. Well, access is managed based on the user role and permissions, or you can say privileges. These permissions are assigned by RBAC policies. So what are RBAC? Role-based access control policies. This actually ensures that the users only have access to the resources necessary for their job. So least privilege principles are actually used here. The next one is, yes, the policy management. Well, security policies actually define who can access a specific resource, when they can do so, and under what specific conditions. Example, it includes your AWS IAM policies or your Entra ID policies on Azure. This can be applied on the top level of the scope, or it can also be applied on the resource level. Remember, applying policy in the hierarchy actually will impact the resources under or inside that hierarchy. So policy structure must be defined carefully. But once it is done, it adds a very strong layer of security on top of your structure or architecture. The next one is SSO, single sign-on. Well, SSO allows user to access multiple cloud services using only one set of credentials. This enhances the convenience while maintaining security on the same time. Example include your Google Identity or Okta, right? Or even Azure Entra ID also provide SSO. Audit and monitoring. That's the last A of this AAA structure. Tracking and logging user activities are essential for maintaining security and compliance. Tools like AWS CloudTrail or Azure Monitor provide visibility into your resource utilization, access events, and it actually helps your organization to detect unauthorized activities. So logs are important. The next one is data encryption and protection. Well, securing data is super important. It's vital for both when it is stored, means at rest, or when it is transmitted, means in transit. Here's how encryption helps achieve this whole protection layer. The first one is encryption at rest. So data stored on servers is encrypted to prevent unauthorized access. Services like AWS Key Management Service, KMS, or Azure Key Vault can actually provide you a secure encryption key management structure. By the way, if you don't like it, you can manage your own keys. But these services are quite scalable, secure, and robust. The next is your encryption in transmission or in transit. Well, data moving across networks is also protected using encryption protocols, such as SSL or TLS. Even the newer version of TLS is being used, 1.2. This ensures that your data packets moving through unsecured network channels are still encapsulated. They're encrypted. So even though someone actually grabs or copy the data, they cannot understand it. So it is secure. The next is access control. Well, encryption ensures that only authorized users and application can decrypt and access sensitive data. This actually reinforces your IAM policies. That is your access control. Whosoever know the decryption key or are authorized to do so can decrypt and read the data. Rest everyone will just get gibberish. They will not understand anything. It's encrypted. The next is your key management. Well, a secure management of encryption keys is actually super critical. Tools like, again, AWS KMS and your Azure Key Vault or even Google Cloud KMS can actually help you store the keys. Even you can generate the keys over there. Now, if the keys are compromised, yes, that will be a big problem. But these solutions are very robust. They're very secure. The next concept to actually protect your environment is data masking. Whether you are masking credit card information, phone number, some medical records, or whatever you want. Techniques like tokenization and data anonymization actually obscure your sensitive information. It simply means that it puts a random digit in front of your valid data so that the data will mean nothing to someone or to a person who don't know how to unmask it. Well, it protects user privacy while still allowing data to be used for analysis or by applications. In simple words, data masking masks your data so that an unauthorized user or a service cannot see what the data is, but an authorized service or application can still use it. Uh, to wrap up, I will say cloud security relies on strong identity management first, and then data protection practices also follow up. By authenticating users, controlling their access, and also encrypting data both at rest or in transit, organizations can safeguard their cloud environments. Well, monitoring access and securely managing encryption key further enhances security and compliance. Thank you for joining me today. Stay tuned for the next episode, and please see other courses on NetSoft IT Academy. Join us. It's a simple subscription, and you can always unsubscribe whenever you want, so there is no permanent contract there. Knowledge is actually very easy to gain if you want to do that. So please take it.